I think it's so. Let me give you an example of why buy and hold is not such a good idea.
Don't buy and hold, do instead in 2022 Best Advice by Mohnish Pabrai.
So from 1988 to 2000, the Berkshire investment in Coca-Cola, which both Arvind and I are enjoying. Cheers, Arvind. And basically, they put about $1 billion into Coke, and I'm going to exclude dividends just to keep it simple. But the billion in 12 years went to 12 billion, approximately. So Berkshire got about a 12x return from 1988 to 2000 on the Coke investment, kind of mid-20s per year return, very nice. And then from 2000 to 2018, it went up from from 12 billion to about 18 billion. So in 18 years, it went up 50%, about 2.3% a year. So they made about 25% a year in the first 12 years, and they made less than including dividends, maybe they made 3.5% a year. Clearly, and there are almost no moats. In fact, I would say there probably is no moat that is more resilient than the Coke moat. It's kind of like the ultimate moat. And so here you have two guys who are really smart, the smartest guys in investing, and they identified a great asset, they identified it at a great price, they had a great run, but it hasn't been a great run for 18 years. And I think Warren at one point said, I think in the early 2000s, that it was probably a mistake not to sell Coke. Of course, today it doesn't make much sense for them because they have so much cash. They'll just end up going to cash, and at least they're getting a few percentage points. And there's a new CEO, and might change. He looks pretty good. After a few decades of idiots running the company, we're back to having intelligent life. So anyway, basically, so if you look at a business like let's say we look at MasterCard. So MasterCard has had an incredible run over the last, since it went public. I don't know the numbers, but I think it might be more than 50x in the last 10 years or so that it's been public. It's been a huge home run. And a lot of smart investors own MasterCard. The people who own it in descending order of percentage of the portfolio, Chuck Acri, Tom Russo, Sequoia owns it. It's about 7.6%. My good friend Guy Spear, Bill Nygren, Wally White, Tweedy Brown, Tom Gaynor's very small part of his portfolio though, and of course Warren Buffett, which I think is one of the two managers, and such, and so on. So it's an august list of people. Like for Tom Russo, it's like 12.5% of the portfolio. For Chuck Acri, I think it's 13%. So if you ask me what's going to happen to MasterCard from let's say 2018 to 2030, I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers are something like Coke. In fact, it would be, if you run the math. I think it's at 50 times trailing earnings. If you run the math using, the market cap versus the current earnings, which is 2% of the market cap, and then you start discounting that, and then look at what kind of return you want, and if I want a 25% return or something, you just can't get there. So I think the thing is that it's not about, in my opinion, buying great assets and holding them forever. I think probably the best thing to do is some middle ground where if it's a tremendous asset like MasterCard, probably not a bad idea to let it run past 40 or 45 times earnings. But I would say at present prices, I would be a seller. I would take my money and
Thank you for watching video. Please like and subscribe Grow Up YouTube channel and follow us on social media.